So guys, Trials of Osiris is live this weekend, the first weekend of Trials we've had in Season of the Lost, and of course the first Trials of Osiris we've had with the new changes. I spoke about them in a previous video, but now I've had the chance to see it in action and play some Trials, and I'm going to let you know my thoughts about that. I actually went flawless for the first time ever this weekend, so I guess now I'm qualified to talk about this, which I definitely wasn't before. Big shout out to the Big LD and Carwin, my fire team. Without them I couldn't have got to the lighthouse for the first time. So guys, how does Trials feel? I would say that it's still very meta. Yeah, I got shatter dived 100 times. I got killed by Felwinter's Lie a lot. You know all the things, Bastion, Jotun, all that sort of stuff. If you don't like sweaty, it's still not for you. But what I would say is you are going to get rewards 100%. Everyone's going to get rewarded for playing Trials now, whereas before there was a lot of people that didn't get rewarded at all or got rewarded very little with just say one piece of loot. I'll touch on the matchmaking first. So right now you can queue solo, which you weren't able to do before. Now solo players can still be matched with teams. Can be a little bit frustrating. You feel like you're going to go up against a team and get stomped, and maybe a lot of times you will. There is no freelance playlist yet, but they do have that coming later in the season. So similar to how you can go into freelance Iron Banner, they will have freelance Trials of Osiris. I guess they wanted to see what the player count was going to be like before they split the player base. Could be overall detrimental to the health of the mode if they split the player base down the middle. That could be an issue for matchmaking. But I guess if they keep seeing the numbers they've seen this weekend, that freelance playlist will be a regular occurrence, I would think. Why would you queue solo right now if you think you're going to get stomped and you're coming up against free stacks? Well, I said it earlier, everyone's going to get loot. Everyone's going to be rewarded. So with the loot structure now, it's changed quite significantly. So the 3-win, 5-win and 7-win rewards are gone. So they've switched to a rank up system, much like you have with Shacks in the Crucible. You visit Shacks in the little top right hand corner there. Every time you get a rank up, you will get a Crucible engram, usually with a Crucible related piece of armor or weapon. It's exactly the same with Saint 14 right now. Now, the really great thing about the Trials engrams you get from him for ranking up is you can take them to Rahul and you can decrypt those and you can get given a random piece of Trials armor or a random Trials weapon. Now, this is great because if you don't have a particular weapon, for example, nobody had Reed's Regret at the start of the weekend, well, the first engram I decrypted, I got a Reed's Regret. From there, once you have one in your collections, you can actually use your Trials engrams at Saint 14 to focus those engrams. So you can focus them into an item you've already got in your collection. So in that example, I'd got my first Reed's Regret. I then went to Saint 14. I burnt a load of Trials engrams I had trying to get a better roll. And guess what? I didn't get a better roll. Really wanted Vorpal, but there you go. You can't win them all, and that's RNG for you. But it encourages me to play Trials again next weekend, so that's absolutely fine. I did have a good time overall. A lot of people were concerned about the 3-win, 5-win and 7-win rewards going. They've been replaced now. You can get a 7-win reward from Saint and you get a pinnacle for that. A lot of people will think 7 wins, I'm not going to get there. But the Trials matchmaking and the cards have changed now. So on the cards, it used to be you got the flawed passage and you would have to reset. You actually don't need to do that anymore. If you're not going for flawless, you can keep playing on a flawed passage. You can go all the way up to 7 wins and you actually get that 7-win reward from Saint regardless. So you could have 20 losses on a card, but once you get to your 7th win, you still get that pinnacle from Saint. So you're still going to get that pinnacle. It's still, again, going to be a Trials piece of loot, which is great. The other thing is, once you get deeper into a card, even if it's flawed, you get better rewards. So you get more rank up points, which helps you in turn to get more engrams. So at the start of the card, I think I was getting sort of like 20 points for a win. When you start getting towards the end of the card, if you've got 6 or 7 wins, you're actually getting about 100 reputation points for a win, which means you're going to rank up quicker, you're going to earn more Trials engrams and earn more loot. And guys, honestly, I played on Friday night for probably about 3 hours. I think I ended up getting about 6 engrams plus the pinnacle reward from Saint. There's also a 50 round win reward, which sounds absolutely monumental, but the thing with that is it gives you bonus progress if you're actually winning matches. Now, I didn't look at it after every match, so I can't say for sure exactly how that works, but what I would say is I checked and I was 17 round wins out of 50. A few matches later, I was probably at the 50 round reward. So it just started going really quickly, and I think it might be weighted towards how far you are into a card. So I remember being on about a 5-win streak at that time, and it just seemed to fly by those 50 rounds. It definitely wasn't 50 rounds, but in terms of the progress, it just seemed to go really fast. So the loot's really great. I think it's really positive, and of course, you know, you still want to go flawless, you still want to get to the lighthouse, and you still want to get that adept loot if you can. This week it is Shiura's Wrath. I managed to get myself an adept one of those. It was an awful roll, but what can you do? Here's where it gets really interesting, is after you've been flawless, or after you've got to 7 wins on a card, previously you'd reset and you go again. But now it's a little bit different. So you can keep that card and you can keep matchmaking. And if you keep matchmaking, it matches you against people that have a similar win streak. So in this case, it'd be flawless. So it'll try and match you against other flawless players. So why would you do this? Would you want to come up against other flawless players? Well, yes and no. So the matches will be much more difficult, but you get much better rewards. So if you're on a flawless passage and you continue to matchmake, the kind of rewards you're going to get are ascendant shards, enhancement prisms. You're going to get more adept loot as well. It is only an adept loot for that week, so in this case Shiura's Wrath. It looks like they're dropping pretty reliably, probably every 2-3 games. If you're winning, you get 1 drop. Now if you do go flawed and you're on a passage of 7 wins on it, you can still get all of those increased rewards except for the adept weapon. So you can continue to earn ascendant shards and all the other loot. So there is an incentive not to reset. What does this mean for players that don't normally have the chance to go flawless? Well, that means it should be easier for them. The more players that go flawless, it should get easier for the players that aren't flawless, because the people that have gone flawless used to reset and then be matched in their first game against any team that was in their first game. Whereas now, those people that go flawless should just be matched against other flawless players, because they've got an incentive not to reset their card, because they're still getting really good loot and they're still able to get those adept weapons as well. So I think overall, all the changes are really positive. Yes, the game mode is really sweaty. Yes, it's always gonna be sweaty. It is the pinnacle PvP game mode in this game, and actually it's probably the toughest PvP game mode I've ever played, if I'm honest. And I never really thought I was going to get to the lighthouse. By some miracle got there this weekend, and yeah, it probably is down to the changes, and if I can get there, then a lot of other people can get there. So I think really, if you've got good communication, you don't have to be the best PvP player. I am bang average. I have a KD, I think I played about 50 matches of Iron Banner this season. I think I was on about a 1.3 KD, and remember that's KDA as well. So really, if it was KD, I'm probably about a 1 this season. But the communication is key. If you're going to talk to your teammates and get your call outs down, and if you're going to say mid, or if you're going to say back left, or you know, your teammates are going to know what you're talking about once you get into a rhythm, and that's going to be really helpful. What I would say is, when you call stuff out, make sure it adds value. Don't just say there's a sniper. That's not helpful. You need to say there's a sniper watching middle lane, or you know, whatever it is, so to actually give your teammates an advantage. Just panicking and saying he's got a sniper rifle is not going to help your team. All right, so stay calm, stay clear in your communication, and I genuinely believe if I can get there, anyone can get there. So just keep that communication tight. Even if you're not the best player, you still will have a chance. But even if you don't have to feel bad about it now. It's okay not to go flawless. You are going to get so much loot, and this playlist is probably, from what I've seen this weekend, the most rewarding playlist in the whole game. Mostly because the weapons are actually really good. So when you get rewarded in the same way in Crucible, the stuff you're getting is normally stuff you're not using all that much. But if you get Eye of Soul and Reed's Regret and Shiura's Wrath, they're all really good pieces of loot. And if you can farm those reliably, which you can now, which you never could before, you're going to get those rolls eventually that you want, and you're going to end up actually using those weapons and not just dismantling them or leaving them in your vault. So I think overall it's really rewarding, which it wasn't before. From one week to the next, Trials has gone from a place where you might get one weapon if you're lucky to absolutely just raining down engrams. So I think everyone should get involved and give it a go. Even if you're a PvE player, even if you're someone who's hated Trials in the past, I would get involved. There's going to be people like yourself that are trying it out for the first time, just dabbling a little bit. But I think overall, The matchmaking is much better, the loot is much better, and it means there's going to be more players getting involved in the mode, which is just great for everyone. So that's going to be it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you could drop a like, that would be really appreciated. If you have any questions or any comments, just put them down below. Of course, if you didn't like the video, feel free to smash the thumbs down button. That's absolutely fine. If you want to see more content like this, keep it locked, hit the subscribe button. I've been Davski, and I will catch you guys next time.